Hey, Ethan Quinn, what's up?
What's going on, guys?
Yeah. So you're back in town for how long?
Just today.
Just today. Came down from you're up north, right? You're living up north.
Yep. Wife and I, we were in Hilliard, and we just bought a house up. Best way to describe it, like right around the Columbus Zoo area, like Powell area.
Yeah.
So moved there last summer, and got a chance to come down home.
So I haven't seen you much. You've been out of school. How long have you been out of high school?
So I graduated from Jackson in 13.
13, so you're 12 years out now.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's crazy.
Oh, my lands.
That make you feel old, would?
Oh, my gosh, yes. That makes you
Feels
feel
like
old.
just yesterday. It was a cold Friday night, seeing me out there.
I feel like you
crazy.
should be like in grad school or something, maybe at the most.
I turned 30 this summer. I mean, that's just unbelievable to think about.
You turned 30.
It's so weird. Like I'm 29 was like, man, I'm getting up in my 20s, but turning 30 is, I'm about to have a 2-year-old. He's going to turn 2 next month. I mean, 30 is a little weird to think about.
Gets weirder too.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, it gets weirder. Yeah.
Just wait till you hit a half a century.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're 52.
53.
You're 53. You already are.
Yep, I just turned 53 in January.
Wow. Yeah. Well, he's over halfway there to you.
Yeah.
It don't get any easier, brother.
Oh man, yeah. The knees and the lower back are hurting more and more.
Well,
every day.
we're gonna talk about that. So you graduated 2013, and you went to play college football.
I did.
Where at?
Yeah, so kind of a little unique process to that. I committed. I was going to go play at Eastern Michigan in the MAC, and they had a coaching change really late. And I'm like, I don't want to go play for Joe Schmo that's 7-8 hours away from home that I don't know. He doesn't know me. And so I kind of went back to the drawing board, and Ohio Dominican, which is where Austin Osborne ended up playing.
Okay.
They were the first Division II to ever offer me a scholarship. And so I kind of went back to the drawing board and ended up choosing between them and Ashland and went to ODU. So I played at ODU from 13 to 17.
Yeah. Okay. I knew you went on to the college level and played. What position were you?
So obviously played left tackle at Jackson, and then went in as a tackle. Played that redshirt freshman year, and then my last 2 years, I ended up playing guard. So I did not stay for my 5th year. I got redshirted, but I graduated in 4 years. My body, I couldn't take another snap of football. So.
You know, I've known of your family since I was probably about a second grader, first or second graders, whenever Uncle Adam came.
Oh yeah.
And Adam was my age.
Oh yeah.
And I was thinking about it on the way here. I'll never forget the first time I saw Adam Quinn. He was 6'2", I think, and he was 8 years old.
In the first grade.
Do you know the dad?
No.
You don't know Level's husband. What's your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron.
Aaron. Yeah,
for sure.
He was a giant. Well, that Adam is his younger brother.
Yep.
Okay.
And I mean, but like you, I mean, you've always been big. How big are you? Were playing college football?
So the biggest I ever got. So my redshirt junior year was the biggest I ever was. I was 6'7", 328, and I mean could bench press a house at that point. And yeah, that was the biggest.
Moving
I ever got.
good.
Oh yeah, still moving good. I mean, honestly. What Jason Prater was able to do for me. I mean, I was the kid that couldn't chew gum and walk at the same time. And I mean, that was.
You'd have been in the early days.
So I was the special group. I got thrown into the special group, and that was, I mean, just changed the trajectory of my life. But me training with that very core group on the track right behind the bleachers in the gym.
Yeah.
Guys that are already going to play high level college sports, and you're throwing me in there, and I'm like, man, this is new. Every bit of this was new for me. And I mean, yeah, that just completely changed everything. So yeah, I got started with
Shout out Prater.
Yeah, he was, I mean, he completely changed my life. Osborne moving in, and I wasn't even going to play football anymore. I didn't want to.
You guys are around the same age?
So Osborne moved in my junior year. It was his senior year when he came from Wellston. Okay. And so honestly, Coach Hall begged me to play. I'm like, I'm not very good. I don't like this. I just didn't want to. And Osborne kind of didn't give me a choice. And then Coach Hall got me plugged in with Jason, and Jason put his arm around me, and I mean, changed the trajectory of my life. And
awesome.
That allowed me to get to play college sports. And so, yeah, like I said, at that point, I was biggest I've ever been, strongest I've ever been, moved the best I'd ever been. I graduated from high school super young. I should have been held back. I went to Ohio Dominican. I was in freshman year camp in August at 17 years old. And when I realized 2 years after that what happened to my body, I'm like, man, if I'd actually had that 2 years in high school, then things are very, very different.
Yeah, not only could you could have almost been held back 2 years.
So the rule of the 18 and
Can't
under
be
in high
20.
Correct. And so that's gone. So I could have had 2 more years in high school.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, if that would have happened, things would have been completely different. Now, everything's worked out exactly the way it needed to. But I do think about that every once in a while. You know, with my son, like my wife and I both played college athletics. We've done it. So like we don't have to live through him to do that. But I'm like, I want him to be the oldest kid because I just don't want you to have to go through the issues that I went through just being young. I remember going to Indiana's camp when I think Kevin Wilson was the head coach there at the time. And I remember going through camp, had a good day. And he was like, Ethan, like, we love you, but we can go find a kid that's 2 years more mature than you are at this point. And it was like, that was really hard to hear. And so, you know, obviously I was not good enough to play at Indiana at that point, but like just hearing something like that, it's like, man, that could have been avoided, or that answer could have been different if I was 2 years younger.
Yeah, because you have the perfect stature.
I mean, it couldn't have been any better.
You don't even have to be good.
No.
They just want your body.
Like, right. and that's what, if I would have been, like, I remember 2 years into ODU, like it took me, my redshirt year, it took me every year just to figure out what the heck was going on in college athletics.
Oh, yeah.
And I just turned 18.
Mentally, you're still behind.
Yeah. And honestly, I never even figured out I was even any good at football until that junior year. We went 10-0 that year, had that special year with Austin Osborne throwing the ball to Ty McNelly or handing it off to Drew Irvin, and that nasty defense we had. I mean, winning at the tank at Ironton for the first time in forever. Like, that season was special. And me playing left tackle was just, that was really, really cool. But yeah, I just think back to when 2 years past my college career, I saw what happened to my body, and then just mentally what happened.
What happened to it?
I figured out what to do with a 6'7", 320-pound body. And I figured out how to work in the weight room. And like when I worked with Jason, it was just figuring out how to chew gum and walk at the same time. I mean, it was just the coordination side of things, the flexibility side of things. And then I really started to figure out how to like move some things. And I was like, whoa, if I was a senior in high school that just graduated, I mean, you're talking whatever I could have possibly imagined. That's what would happen. Because like you said, you don't even have to be that good, but if they see that body and you're willing to work at it.
If you take 300, what'd you say, 328?
Yeah.
That can move.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just inertia.
Correct.
There's certain folks I've always thought struggle to understand that. Like, you know, if you're X amount of size.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some stuff you can do. I don't know that you could continue to do it.
Correct. I mean, I remember
if you, I'm saying if you wanted to take that person on,
yeah,
like, you know, I mean, that's just crazy.
I remember coming back the summer going into my redshirt junior year. So I still had 2 years of eligibility left. Wasn't sure if I was going to use that 5th year or not, but I came back and I remember we were doing like max outs with Jason in the group. And like I repped out 225 in the mid 20s. And that was one of the top like numbers that you would put up in the combine.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not an NFL player, but it's like, man, if I had 2 more years to build off of this, it was like, what could have been. And I had to live in that space a little bit, but it was like, that's a scary, scary place to live in. But at the end of the day, I got my college paid for. I have 0 school debt. Like, that was huge for me. I made some of my best friends that were in my wedding that I still talk to this day. Being in Columbus allowed me to meet my wife. I have the best wife, the best baby boy I have. I have a wonderful job now. Like, I'm living the dream in that aspect. And so once you get out of that what if game, it's fine. But like I said, if my son wants to play sports, he's going to have every opportunity to do so. We don't need him to, but I just don't want him to suffer in the way that I did from that aspect.
Oh, sure. So you come out of college and then, or do you go right to work? Like, what are you doing once you get out of college?
Yeah. So kind of a crazy story. So I always wanted to be a college basketball coach. I think that came from, I don't know if you guys remember, but the reason we moved to Jackson was my dad was a state trooper and he had to take a disability retirement. He came back down and played 1 year at Rio Grande when he was 35 years old.
That's right. I remember that.
Yeah. So at that point, and
he got to play. Like
he did.
Oh, he had eligibility left.
Yeah.
But like he was on the floor.
Oh yeah. He was on the floor.
He was the leading rebounder on the team.
He was a major contributor at 35 years old.
It was crazy.
What does he say about that?
I mean, you can just hear his bones creaking and he walks in the living room and you just watch him walk and you're like, you remember
some of that you guys are just huge people. Yeah.
So it was crazy, like when he came back down, I remember, at Rio at that time, it was my dad at 35 who's not played competitive basketball in 15 years.
Did he play at Rio before?
No, he got recruited there. But so Ken French, who was the head coach there for a long time, he was the assistant and then he got hired as the head job. So when my dad took the disability retirement, we were living in West Jefferson, just outside of Columbus at the time. And we sold everything. Obviously, mom is from Jackson, Rio Grande area. We moved in with Mama and Papa right off 35 at the 7-foot ceiling, 1-bathroom farmhouse.
Yeah.
And my mom and dad went down to meet with Jeff Lanham at Rio, the AD. Just family friend, like, hey, mom and dad neither graduated college. So they were like, how many credits do we have left to finish? Well, Jeff joked with dad and was like, you have a year of eligibility left. And dad's like, haha, just blew it off. And long story short, Coach French came in and Jeff was like, hey, I've got you a 7-foot center to come play an open gym tomorrow. And so Coach French was like, hey, why don't you just bring your Chuck Taylors in, your high top Chuck Taylors in, and play an open gym with the guys and show them how real basketball is played. My dad thought the whole time he was going to have them like help coach. Like that was the thing. Dad went in, did the open gym, sat with Coach French. He offered him to play. He said, absolutely not. He's like, I'm 35 years old. I don't have a job. I don't have a college degree. I have 2 kids. We're living with my mom, my in-laws. He was like, well, I'll just pay for the rest of your schooling. And Dad said, okay, I'll play. So Dad went back and played. And so
money talks.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember going into practices in the locker room. In that locker room, those guys hold a special place in all of our hearts. Like they treated my dad, myself, my family better than I could have ever imagined. And it was a locker room full of inner city, JUCO, international guys. I mean, yeah, that had no business respecting a 35-year-old has-been to come in there. Like Dad played college basketball before, but like he's a has-been. He's 35. And, those guys treated us so well. And so I remember, Dad's in there putting BioFreeze on every single part of his body. And like 20-year-old guys from inner city Chicago or Cleveland have no idea what that is and that smell in that locker room. And so I say all of that because that's where the college basketball thing came from. Like football, if it wasn't for Coach Hall, I would have never played. When he got hired, I told him, mom was the secretary at the high school at the time. And I'm like, I don't want to play football, but I wish you the best. And I'm just the biggest kid in Jackson. And
how old are you at that time?
13, 12.
So you didn't start playing football until what age?
So when we moved, I had never played a full season of sports because we moved all the time when Dad was a state trooper. So we moved to Jackson in 6th grade. Middle school was the first time I ever tried, but I was so bad. I was the big kid who couldn't chew gum and walk at the same time. I didn't want to play baseball. I only played basketball and football, and I was so bad. I mean, it was miserable. But the happy part of sports I had was my dad played college basketball, and then he coached after. And so while my playing was brutal, I got to be in a college locker room. I got to travel the country for free, eat for free, stay in hotels for free Nike gear. And I had a bunch of 20-year-olds that treated me like their brother.
Were you like the ball boy?
It was unbelievable. I mean, I got so many cups of waters for guys, and I mopped those floors better than anybody. And but I sat on the bench with those guys. Those guys, we'd be in the hotel for an away game, and they would come knock on the door and ask my dad, like, hey, can Ethan come down to the pool with us? And it's like, that was my happy place.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, sports.
I mean, can you imagine being, how old are you at this time?
I was
13?
12. Yeah.
And you're hanging out with the college
But you got to think this guy at 12. I mean, he was looking at
6'4".
He's
Some
looking
people
these
thought I
guys
was on
right
the
in
team.
eye.
Yeah, some people thought I was on the
How
team.
big were you at 12?
I mean,
6'1", 6'2"?
Yeah. I mean, I was huge. And
Can Ethan come out?
well, the hard part was you guys understand this. Like when you come to a small town like this, like when football is the most important thing and you got the big kid coming in and the big kid sucks. It's like there was a lot of people that had a lot of tough things for me to hear that they said. And that was really hard because I wanted to play. I wanted to be good. And so, yeah, my happy place was a college basketball locker room. And so, obviously it's been a while, but like my 4-year high school term here, the basketball program was kind of in shambles. I mean, it was just coach after coach after coach. And we had stability with Coach Hall. Like that,
yeah.
There was stability, and he begged me and he told me to trust him. And his dad, as senile as old Coach Hall was and is, like he just kept telling me to trust him, and I didn't trust either of them. But for some reason, I just kept doing it. And then, like I said, I got in with Jason, and Osborne moving in honestly completely changed my life. And then the rest was history. And then, senior year, we didn't have a great year as a team, but I had a really, really good year as an individual, and obviously would have loved to win more games. But that's when recruiting really started to pick up. And I remember I was so confused. Like I never thought I was going to go play college football. But when I did it, I knew the reason that I was doing it was because I was going to get my school paid for. I didn't go because I thought I was going to play in the NFL. I didn't go because I honestly loved football. I went because it was going to pay for my school. It was an ends to a mean, or means to an end. And so I really the whole time it was college basketball. I'm like, this is going to make my life hard to get into college coaching, but I'm going to do it. And so, so played 4 years. And then I took 2 years post football. I'm like, I have no student debt, but I also have no money because I didn't have a time to get a job because football was the job. And so at that time, my dad's parents lived outside of Columbus. And I said, hey, I'm going to work 4 jobs, 80 hours a week. I just need a place to lay my head down at night. My parents were living in Mount Vernon at the time. My dad was the athletic director at Mount Vernon Naz. And so I just told my grandparents, I'm like, hey, I'm going to work. You won't ever see me. I just need somewhere to lay my head down for a year till I get an apartment and can afford it. And so that's what I did. I was a server at B-Dubs. I substitute taught. I officiated basketball. I worked for a scouting service. I mean, I did everything. And I just collected and saved. And I ate literally whatever.
Not partying.
No, I did literally nothing but work.
Yeah.
Knowing I was either going to have to go get a grad assistant job to get into college, which I didn't stay for my 5th year of football because I couldn't do another year of football nor another year of school, or I was going to have to volunteer somewhere. And I'm like, I at least have to have some money to live off of. And so did that for a year, got my own apartment, did the same thing for another year. And so after 2 years, I was like, okay, I got to scratch this itch and I'm ready. Had 2 opportunities that were presented to me, both fell through. And then I'm like, okay, Lord, like where am I supposed to go from here? I felt really good about both opportunities. They were gone. And then, so at Ohio Dominican, the head men's basketball coach left for another job, and I knew the assistant really well. And I thought, man, if I'm in Columbus already, it's my alma mater, I'll just tell him, like, I'll do the laundry and I'll help you recruit because I can talk to anybody and I went to school here. So I can tell them, like, what it was like to be a student athlete here. And so I called him and I said, hey, I don't know if you would take me, but I'll volunteer. You don't have to pay me a dime. I was like, I will mop the floors. I'll do the laundry. I'll help anyway. I'll go drive to Cleveland to recruit, but I can sit in a room and tell these guys how it was to be a student athlete here. And he took a chance on me. And that first year, I mean, I was eating peanut butter sandwiches and that was about it. And I didn't have enough money to afford anything else, but I sacrificed and I worked. I got a job at the Nike outlet mall at Tanger up in Sunbury. I worked from 4:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. stocking shelves, like hanging the shipments would come in. I'd get boxes off the truck. I'd hang them up, put the little size tags on there. And once the store opened at 9, then I'd go in the office. I did that because I didn't want to miss anything in the office. I wanted to be in there and just learn. And so I worked 4 days a week at Nike. And, that was hard when you work 4:30 to 9. Then I eat a peanut butter sandwich to get to the office. Then I'm learning, and then I do some
basketball
laundry. Basketball office. Okay. Then I do some laundry. Then I'm doing an individual workout, and he's like, "Hey, I need you to go to Indianapolis to recruit tonight." It's like, cool, no problem. Where am I going? Go, get home at 12:30, 1 a.m. And I'm waking up 2.5, 3 hours later to go to work. And I did that for a year. So I was there for 2 years, and then just been at Denison University, which is a Division III school just east of Columbus area in Granville. I've been there for just finished up season 4.
Beautiful school.
Beautiful.
Unbelievable. It's almost like a little mini Ivy League school.
It is. Yeah.
When the campus is really, really pretty.
Oh yeah. When I got hired, take it back when I had the interview. So kind of a cool connection. So the head coach was an All-American at Wittenberg. He got the head job. He was the assistant for right out of college. So all he's ever known is Denison. He was the assistant associate head, got hired as the head coach during the pandemic. His full-time top assistant he hired played for Dad at Rio. And so when I left Ohio Dominican, correct, we reconnected a little bit. He was at Bluffton beforehand. And so we reconnected out recruiting and working camps and things. When I left ODU, I was honestly thinking I was going to coach high school basketball, and that's the last thing I wanted to do. Like, my heart is at college. He called me and he's like, "What are you about to do?" And I'm like, "I think I'm about to coach high school basketball." And he said, "Would you be interested in Denison?" And I'm like, I barely know where that is. And I've been in Columbus for 10 years. And I was like, dude, I know nothing about the D3 space. I know nothing about the high academic, the Ivy League stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know anything. And he was like, "Do you want to coach college basketball or not?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." So I take a Zoom call with the head coach, and I was just straightforward with him. I was like, "Listen, I'm gonna have to learn. Like, I don't know." But I said, I'll give you everything I got. And he's like, "Cool, let's do it." And it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey learning about that space and the D3 space. And so I got a lot of opportunity to do some really special things. And then so the guy that played for my dad, he actually just left this past season to get the Dobo job at Brown. So he's in the Ivy League doing Division I now. And I got promoted to be the top assistant this past year. So this past season was my first season being the full-time assistant, which was what I've wanted and worked for, and why I worked at Nike at 4 a.m. And so yeah, we just finished up my 4th season at Denison. It was my first year being the top assistant with that promotion. So
And you're only 30.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you're moving right along, man.
Yeah. You've heard the common theme here. I mean, I keep hearing this over and over and over.
Work.
This guy never stopped.
He never. I've known him since he was a little kid. He really never has.
Yeah, he didn't let anything
Yeah.
hold him back. I mean, he saw an obstacle, just got over it. He figured out how to get past it and move on. And I mean, when you're 13 years old and 6'1", I mean, you don't know what to do with your body. I mean,
You're figuring a lot out at that age. I mean, clothes aren't fitting, desks
Crazy.
aren't fitting. You're obviously you're a big dude, but that comes with some probably a little bit of badgering, a little bit. I mean, I know that from being fat. I'm not saying it was hard, but I mean, you had to put up with a little bit, and I'm sure you got some of that, right? I mean,
it was hard. Like I said, I will always consider Jackson home. Like when I texted Mama and Papa and said, hey, I'd like to come down home this week. I still refer to Jackson as home. Like when I get off the exit and I pull down home, my wife still laughs at me. My wife's from Buffalo, big city living. Like she didn't understand how first time I brought her home, she didn't understand how I walked into Subway and Becky Jenkins came up and gave me a hug, or when Brad Munn was still at McDonald's. Like she didn't understand how I, my windows down and at a stoplight in Jackson, somebody's like, "What's up, Q?" And like she just didn't understand that. And so like there will always be a beautiful part of that. We went to Cardo's today and John gave my son a Chillville cup. He's like, "It's on me today." Like that's always, it's going to be home for me.
Yeah.
And I say that it wasn't easy. I mean, like I said, I wanted to play, I wanted to be good, but I was still trying to figure stuff. I mean, I remember even when I, sophomore year, I barely saw the field on a JV team. And, I told Coach Hall, I'm like, please don't bother me to play football ever again. And he just kept begging me. I'm like, I'm done. And then honestly, I was done. And then that's when Osborne came in and he kind of took me under his wing. I was hanging out with the cool kids that Osborne was, that I wasn't the cool kid, but Osborne took me under his wing. I will always be in debt to him for that. And I mean, changed my life. And then, like I said, getting in with Jason was just a completely different
got
thing.
with Jason in your junior year, basically at high school.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm up there working out with Osborne, Drew, Chris Fairchild, like guys that I didn't belong in that space. I was just figuring out how to do a speed ladder. I mean, I couldn't figure it out. And Jason was so patient with me. And
those guys are all freaks.
It's
Austin, Drew,
insane,
all freak athletes,
insane
freaks.
I mean, watching those guys go to work every day, and I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna keep getting invited to this space, I better figure this out. And so, like, what a lot of people don't know, after every Friday night game, Jason and I would train in the high school at 8 a.m. every Saturday. Jason would show up just to train me. Nobody really knew that, but like, I just wanted to figure it out. And there were some games, there were some mornings I would wake up and I did not want to go. I did not want to go work out. But he would show up for me, and I figured it out. And I remember the first time I could get through like a box jump, I was like, holy moly. I just left the ground and it looked athletic. I mean, it was wild.
Were you a wild? Because I mean, you're talking your junior year, you're probably still 16.
Correct.
So at that point in time, you're probably 6'5".
Yeah.
Were you having a hard
time? What now?
Right now?
Yeah.
29.
You're 6.
Oh, I'm 6'7".
6'7".
6'7".
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I joke all the time. Like, mommy and daddy were having to drop me off for my starting varsity football Friday nights because I couldn't drive to the game. I didn't get my license till later. I mean, it was
you're a late bloomer.
Yeah.
So is your body like? I had a good friend of mine. Shout out J.R. Smith, but he was like that. He was like 6'9", graduated. Just huge guy. And growing up, we always kind of just thought it would have been hard to get yourself figure out your movements because you're so big.
People don't understand it. Like,
what's that like?
I joke like I couldn't chew gum and walk at the same time. I couldn't watching Drew Irvin go through a speed ladder. I'm like, I didn't know it was physically possible for somebody's feet to move like that. Or watching Austin Osborne hang clean massive amounts of weight and do it in a quick snap of a finger. I'm like,
but those guys also, we talk about how they're freaks. They're working freaks too.
Crazy.
Like even to this day,
crazy.
Those guys are just
you're not going to outwork them.
They're not, it's impossible.
And honestly, I mean that group, like I said, changed the trajectory of my life. But I joke about that box jump. I'll never forget. We were up behind the bleachers and they put out in my mind, it was a 90-inch box that I had to jump on top. It was probably like 3 feet. But I mean, it was like me conquering Goliath. Yeah. And I'll never, ever forget that I did it. And I honestly can't remember 42 inches or so. It wasn't something, it was high, but it was not anything crazy. Yeah. But I remember conquering and standing on top of that box and like they were cheering and I remember I felt like, okay, I belong. I might have figured this out.
Yeah.
Like all the people that have told me I couldn't figure it out or I'm wasting space or go somewhere else or whatever the case may be. I mean, I was like, whoa, I might have just figured this out.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, it was not always easy. People were not super gracious all the time.
Being big isn't easy.
It's not. But you know what? I just refused to give up as bad as I wanted to sometimes. High school, college was hard. I just refused to do it.
So going back to how you felt though, like whenever you're growing at that rate, I mean, I'm sure
you're hurting.
Yeah. Like, does your body hurt?
You're hurting. I mean, you're waking up with, I joke, I wake up with pains now. I'm like, God, that didn't hurt yesterday. But like, you're just in a constant pain. Like your hips and your knees and your ankles, like your feet. Like I swear, I think my feet were a little swollen at the time, but like I was wearing size 18 shoes. Like now I'm in like a 16, 17, but like I was wearing size 18. Like your feet hurt, your ankles hurt. I mean, yeah, your hips, your lower, I mean, you're just in pain. And then you're trying to move. It's crazy. And you're just battling that while trying to be able to go through a speed ladder or get a 225 off your chest bench pressing while in pain. And I mean, I can't explain it. It's a wild thing. My dad tried to explain it of like, hey, you're going to wake up in the middle of the night and you're going to be hurting. Like, you're going to be hurting. And there were nights I woke up and I'm like, oh my, what is happening to my body? But it's just growing at an exponential rate. It was tough.
When you have that and you walk into a room, you got to worry about, do I have to duck to get in the door?
I mean,
how about a ceiling fan?
I mean,
there's some rooms you walk
cars.
into.
How'd you, I had one of my best friends, best man at my wedding was 6'8", 6'9". He played basketball at OU. And just the amount of time we spent together in college, and I used to have to watch him like maneuver around, just automobiles and doors and just, the bathroom stall and just, I mean, everywhere you went.
Wild.
Yeah.
I think I always joke about CTE. You probably shouldn't joke about that, but I'm like, CTE started way before football. It was banging your head off a ceiling fan or a ledge, walking through a door. And once again, if you're the kid that can't chew gum and walk at the same time, you're not paying much attention to those. And I mean, I used to laugh at my dad. My dad would smack his head off of something and I'd laugh at him. And then, I mean, I doinked my head. I remember getting in an airplane one time and I was like, oh my gosh, like that hurt so bad. So every time now you'll watch me, like I get up, I mean, I'm like looking at it. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I am not doing that again.
What did Uncle Adam, what did he finish out at? He's probably 6'6".
So we always tell him he was the shrimp of the family. So he's like 6'4", 6'5", but he's heavy. I mean, he's big.
Well, he lost a bunch.
He did. Yeah. But I mean, he was. Big.
Is he still got that off?
For the most part. For the most part. So, it's crazy. Like if you look at my uncle, my grandpa, me, and my dad is a string bean. My dad was 6'9", 6'10". Like my dad right now is like 6'9", probably like 250.
Yeah.
My grandpa in his 70s is 6'6", probably like 270. I mean, he is a big man.
Yeah, I remember them.
Yeah, I mean, my grandpa got offered.
Guy doesn't need a catcher's mitt. He just catches.
I mean, just like my hands are huge.
Jesus, look at the size of this.
I mean, my hands are huge. When you shake my grandpa's hands, it's like that's like one finger, and it's like it makes me feel small. Yeah. And he's in his 70s. I mean, like I think my ring size is like 14. his is like 17 or 18. Like his fingers are just so big, and he's not fat. He's just a big man.
Yeah, they were just big.
Crazy. I mean, yeah. So that's what my wife is 6'2", and so my son is, I mean, just off the charts. It's insane. I always joke, like, Haley and I met. I'm like, hey, you're really attractive. You're really tall. You want to just make giant babies and like see what happens. And that's kind of what we went with. And it was just hilarious. I was like, this is my best punch.
Not everybody gets that pick.
I'm like, this is my best punchline. Like, hey, you're really attractive and you're tall. Do you want to just make giant babies and see what happens? And here we are. And so, yeah, Theo is about to be 2. He, people are like, why is your 5-year-old still sucking on a binky? And I'm like, well, he's not even 2 yet.
Is he big?
Oh, he's massive. And the crazy part was, so she went 42 weeks with him. And I'm like, babe, I'm so sorry. He's about to be 14 pounds. He's about to look like the burrito from Chipotle that I order. I'm like, I'm really, really sorry. He came out like 7 pounds, 8 ounces. And I'm like, did you cheat on me?
Yeah.
I'm like, one of those AAU weekends I was gone recruiting, did you cheat on me? I'm like, this is not my kid. Because she was a 10-pound baby too. We both were. And he was 7 pounds, 8 ounces, like 22 inches long. So he was long.
He was early, right?
It was early. And then he struggled to put on weight. And we're like, what is happening? And then when he finally put on weight, I said, oh, yeah, that's my boy.
Yeah, you can't. So, that first 6 months, you really can't.
Crazy.
You just want him to be healthy.
Crazy. So, yeah, I mean, the pediatrician always jokes. She's like, here's his growth chart. You see that dot in the top right of my computer screen? That's him. Like, he's not even on the growth charts at this point. I mean, you look at his feet and like his legs, his thighs are so big. And I mean,
so when's his birthday? It's like
April 10th.
So you're kind of late in the game. Are you going to make him an old?
He'll be that 18, 19 range graduating high school.
Yeah, he'll turn 19 before he graduates.
Oh yeah, and I've told Haley that. I'm like, listen, and that's what if that kid wants to be in the band, I hope you do. I hope you enjoy it, man. But if you want to play sports, I want to give you every opportunity that I didn't have. And that's the biggest thing. I've told her, I'm like I'm not holding him back because I want to live through him, or I just want to give him the opportunity that I didn't have, especially like once he's going to be massive. Haley's dad is 6'5", played college basketball. Like he is going to be massive.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, at this rate, we'll give him every opportunity. And with the way college athletics are now, like, I'll play the game.
Well, then you got NIL stuff coming.
I joke all the time. I'm like, I'm going to get him in the 3rd grade. I'm going to get an NIL with like Uncrustables and just have free Uncrustables forever. And I mean, he's going to be the size of a high schooler in that. And like, yeah, I'll play the game. I'm not forcing anything, but I'll play the game.
Sure. Yeah.
I'll take somebody's money.
Sure.
I mean, they just give it away to people that don't deserve it at this point. So I'm just like, listen.
I think, speaking of like older kids, I think that McKenna will graduate at 20. She's close, really? I think. Yeah. And I mean, we talked about the GOAT. I mean, I think, we had big GOAT conversations. There's no more conversation.
There is no conversation.
There is no conversation.
No, I've been keeping up with that.
But I think she was held back, I think, on purpose, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think she's one of those older ones like that. It just helps, you mature.
Maturity means a lot.
It's huge.
Because she's only 100 pounds.
Yeah.
So
think of that. Think if you're 2 years ahead and you're only 100 pounds. I mean, at least you still were big enough.
Yeah. So no, like I said, Theo will be like 18, 19. Like, I don't know if I want to keep him to 20, but like 18, 19 when he graduates, going to college at 19.
Isn't the rule you just can't play the sport at age 20?
Correct. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying 18, 19 for him, perfect. And
you play your last game, and your birthday's the day before or day after, and you're fine, right?
Yep. So we'll set him up that way. Like I said, it's going to be very, very interesting what happens with him. We don't have to live through him, which is a really, really special place to be in. But I just want to give him every opportunity that I honestly did not have because of that.
Or you think you'll go with this is a big topic right now. You think you'll go private school where you're in Columbus, or you think you'll go public?
So I tell you what, being in Columbus, there's a lot of legitimate high school programs that are, I mean, you could go to a private school and it's not going to end up being what some of those public schools are. I mean, that's how high level some of these schools are. The education you can get. I mean, so we just moved into Olentangy School District. And so Olentangy, there's 4 Olentangys. There's about to be a 5th. I mean, the size of Columbus is just, it's insane. But like Liberty, that right now, if we stay there, which we plan to, he'll go to Liberty. They just won the state championship in football in Division I. Their basketball team just got beat in the Elite Eight. They're producing multiple Division I athletes every single year. Olentangy Orange just won the state championship. So like I'm just talking Olentangy specifically, but yeah, I have no desire to make him go to a private school. Some of the public schools in Columbus are so high level. You're going to get a great education.
That's just Columbus.
The sports programs are crazy.
And that depends on where you're at. You're in the honey hole.
It is
of public schools.
Yeah,
like you get a little bit south of you, or so west or east of you.
Correct.
It might get a little dicey on
Correct.
that public
And
school.
so we're very happy where my wife really cared about the education piece. So when we moved from Hilliard there, she was thinking long term with the kids, with the school. And I'm like, if you're happy, I'm happy in that aspect. Like I don't care about that as much, but I want to support her in that. But from an athletics side of things, I mean, he's going to be set up if that's where he ends up going. But obviously my mind could change when we get closer to that. Obviously, I see a lot of pros and cons to the private versus public stuff with all my recruiting and different things I have to do for my job. But right now, we have no plans to move him. We plan on putting him in the public schools and think it'll be perfect.
And what's your wife do then?
She's a teacher.
Okay.
So interesting story with her. So she played basketball her whole life and got so burnt out on it. So her dad, 1,000-point scorer in college. So John Beeline, that was the longtime Michigan coach for the Cavs for a little bit. John Beeline it was his first job. Haley's dad played for him. It was a D3 school up in the Northeast. And, dad pushed her. And she got to, I believe it was her sophomore year. And she was like, I don't even want to look at a basketball anymore. Well, the volleyball coach found out that this 6'2" girl at her high school is big, like 500, 600 kids in a graduating class, found out the 6'2" girl that wasn't playing volleyball was available. And she was like, hey, if you want to come play, like, I'll get you a scholarship. And he was like, great, as long as I don't have to look at a basketball. So she played 2 years of volleyball, went and played college volleyball, graduated, and then she moved to Columbus for a coaching and teaching job. So she got a teaching job. She teaches at one of the middle schools in Dublin, and then she was the head varsity volleyball coach at Westerville South High School. She did that for 2 years, but then the pandemic happened. She's like, I'm not doing this anymore. So yeah, she's a teacher.
Oh, good.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm proud of you, brother.
Appreciate that.
I've known you since you was just a little kid, and I've been anxious to hear what it is you're doing, because you kind of left here, and I've seen you, but I haven't really had a chance to really catch up with you. And whenever you guys first moved back, it kind of hit me while you was talking about that. Your mom interviewed with my company.
Yep.
As soon as you guys, like, she might not even been back here yet. Like, I think she was coming down looking for a job, knowing that you guys were coming.
Yeah.
And that's been about 2007, wasn't it?
Crazy. Yeah.
And where were you before that?
Before we moved down here?
Yeah.
So at that time, we lived in West Jeff for the second time. West Jefferson's right outside of Hilliard. That's where my grandparents live. So that's where my dad's family is living right now. We had moved back there for the second time. Like, the most south we ever got was, we lived in Circleville, and my dad worked at the Circleville Post, and then he got transferred to Wilmington. We thought we were going to move down there. Then he got transferred again. We never even left, like, the Circleville Williamsport areas where we were living. We thought we were going to Wilmington, never even left there. He was commuting. And then we got moved back to West Jeff. And then disability retirement. And then that was kind of where we ended up moving down to Jackson. So yeah, I went 6th grade through high school here.
But his parents were here, though, with Adam, though, before, right?
Before, yeah. So my grandpa, when he was here,
Adam left in like 8th grade.
Yep. So they moved all over the place. So yeah, there was a familiarity there, but like, obviously mom's family's been down here forever.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I was thinking that, and then I always forgot Adam left.
Yeah.
So that was way before you.
Yeah, so he went to West Jeff, I believe after Jackson. They ended up in West Jeff, and he went through the rest of school. I think he went all high school at West Jeff.
Yeah, man, I looked up. He came to watch me play one night at the pub about probably 10 years ago.
That's awesome.
Just all of a sudden I look up, and I mean, here's a kid I haven't seen since freaking 7th grade. And I mean, went all through elementary school with him, and I was like, oh my God, that's Adam Quinn. And it was just great to see him. Hadn't seen him for a long time, man. And I think he was just getting ready to get married or something at that time. So and we've stayed in contact, but he's on and off Facebook. I've noticed he's a guy that'll have it one day and then he doesn't.
He's not 100% sure what he wants.
And so I don't know if he currently has it or if he.
I think we started to see some posts the other time. I've even told him, I'm like, just make up your mind. Just if you want to stay on, stay on. If not, just get out of there.
Yeah. But I haven't seen much. Maybe I have. I don't know. I was looking. I got to thin out that herd on my Facebook. I'm seeing stuff that I have no interest in seeing. Like There's too many people on that.
It's your algorithm. You got after
Hey,
me
listen,
the other day about
I don't want to hear
You
anything
got to be
about
careful while you're
algorithm.
scrolling.
Well, Joel will send me some reels every now and then. And I'll just tell him, like, I'm real worried about your feed, bud. You know, you're in the dark spot.
I can tell a lot about you by these videos you've been sending out last
The
week.
fact that these pop up in your reels tells me all I need to know.
That algorithm's got a mind of its own.
Yeah. So you're at Denison now,
Yeah.
and Denison is a dentistry school, right?
So it's actually, so the crazy part about it
Or
is
optometry.
no. So what I've really found out about that in the high academic space is you start getting into some majors that I was like, I don't even 100% know like what does this do or what is this? Like it's not a business major, right? They're looking at like our high majors are like data analytics, global commerce, like those types of things. You're getting into fields that I'm like, I hadn't even thought that was like a real thing. And so we don't have an engineering degree, but we have a track that you can get through engineering with your undergrad. You'll get into grad school. You can get into that field. Like one of our seniors that just graduated, he's on the engineering track. He'll go to grad school. So it is like the biggest thing that I would tell you is like a data analytics, global commerce. We do have a health, exercise, sports science. That's a big one. But yeah, it's one of those things like when
More
we're
tech driven then.
so when we're recruiting, it's like if a kid tells me he wants to be a high school math teacher and coach high school basketball, I'm like, Denison's probably not the place for you. Like
He's going to get there and not be happy.
yeah, I'm like, you're not coming here and investing the money into this school for your schooling to get a Denison degree to go be a high school math teacher. Like that, it doesn't make any sense for you to do that. Like people that are coming to Denison are going to do some pretty crazy stuff. Now that's not everybody, but like we do not have kids coming to Denison to get their education degree. Like you're not spending that kind of money to get an education degree. So obviously I'm looking for a specific type of kid and family and what they're looking for. But yeah, I try to have that conversation pretty early because it's like, if that's what they want to do, like I went to Ohio Dominican and majored in football, but my actual major was sports management. Like I would tell a kid, like, don't come to Denison. That's not what this school is looking to provide you. It's a bigger.
They're big education, aren't they?
Yeah, it's just like the curriculum that you're about to go through and the stuff that you're going to have to take. And yeah, I mean,
Goodwill hunting.
I get kids all the time. They're like, yeah, I'm looking to major in this and minor in this. I'm like, okay, do you want to be here like this? You've got this figured out. You've researched this. And so yeah, it's in that high academic space. Like I tell kids all the time, if you don't have a 3.5 GPA, I literally can't recruit you. There were 15,000 kids that applied to get into Denison last year, and the class they took was like 650 kids. So it's like they're taking certified geniuses for the majority of that class. So they're not taking a kid with a 3.1. Even if I told the admissions department, like, hey, he's LeBron James, they'd be like, does he have a 3.5 or above? And
They don't care.
They don't care because they've got all the certified geniuses that are getting into school, and it's like, they don't care.
Are they working with the Intel project? Because that's like right in their backyard.
Oh yeah.
Now, and I heard that it got pushed back to 2030 now.
I didn't hear it was that far. So they are playing with all of that stuff. They're tying all that stuff. They actually Denison's in such a good like financial state. So Denison has a $1.2 billion endowment as a Division III school, which is just absurd. And so I say that because you see all these schools that are in like financial crisis or schools that are shutting down. Like Denison will never ever have to deal with that. But I say that like during the pandemic when people are getting laid off and schools are shutting down, Denison was buying property in downtown Columbus, putting buildings down there to have all those really, really important business people. Instead of having them have to come out 30 minutes to Denison, we bought real estate down there that we can send our students down there to go have those people walk from nationwide, so they're playing with a lot of high level things, and Intel is something they are definitely taking advantage of.
Yeah. I've heard at that project if it finally takes off, but there's even worry now that it might shift out of here.
I mean, the crazy thing is, I think Columbus has grown at a rate that they weren't really prepared for.
I agree.
Like, so I don't know if you've seen, but they're redoing the entire airport. This airport's about to be like Chicago or Atlanta now, which sucks because all the recruiting trips and vacations and things, like our airport is so easy to navigate now, but it's about to be like a Chicago, Atlanta airport, which is crazy. They're talking about building another outer belt, like 270. Work traffic used to be, when I was at Ohio Dominican, work traffic was like, I can't be on 270 from like 5:30 to 6:15 or I'm going to be stuck in traffic. 270 work traffic now is like 3:30 to like 7. I mean, it is packed in there. There's just so many people.
You ever want to blow your mind? Take off and from here. I'm sure you've done this. And whenever you leave Chillicothe, that 4 lanes is bumper to bumper. I mean, it's not backed up; it's moving. But like, there is more people going north than I've just ever seen. I mean, you're never more than a car lengths away from another car.
Yep. I was up there yesterday, and it was crazy. Just
the traffic.
Yep.
Like I said, I think like you've got places that are landlocked now. They can't build anywhere. Now you're going to places like I said, Olentangy, you can build more north, like towards Delaware. There's still some areas out there that haven't been developed, but they're throwing apartment complexes, condos, houses
Can't
up.
get enough housing.
I mean, they can't keep up. You have houses that have been framed and that's it. And there's already a sold sign in the freaking wood. Like, I mean, it's insane. And I think Columbus has just grown to that point. Like the 161 to get like to Intel, it's 2 lanes. Like that's going to have to be a major highway. I'm like, I mean, the traffic there's even times me getting to Denison, I have to go like back roads because I know I won't hit traffic, but like 161 is 2 lanes.
Dude, that 70 split.
I mean, you got to be careful you don't die.
I'm not talking the 70, 71, even the 270, 70 right
It's
there.
brutal.
Through Reynoldsburg and all.
It's horrible. That exit, trying to get on that ramp, it's awful. And traffic is just standing there. I mean, standing there.
All the time. Don't care what time of day.
It is brutal. Mm-hmm. No, that exit ramp is horrible. It's horrible.
So travel's part of your obstacles you have to deal with when you're out recruiting, right? So, I mean, you have that, and then you have your curriculum of the school of what you are. So what are the students you're looking for?
Yeah.
When you look at somebody and you say, hey, that's a good fit.
Yeah.
I need to go try to get this kid.
Yeah. So when I got to Denison, I fought it, man. I was like, this is stupid. Like, I'm out here trying to recruit basketball players. I don't care what his grades are. Like, I need to get the best basketball players in here. And when I stopped fighting it, I started to embrace it. I'm like, okay, I can't do anything about this. So let's embrace this. So now what I'm doing is like, people look at the sticker price of Denison and they're like, I can't afford that. It's like, hold on, nobody pays the actual sticker price. But we have some families that are investing a lot of money because they do very well for themselves. They didn't get a lot of help from, FAFSA and stuff like that. But we also have kids, like we have a kid right now that's about to graduate from inner city Columbus. He was top of his class in high school. He's going to graduate from Denison for free and he's going to go to law school. So like we have opportunities to do that for kids, but the majority of kids I'm looking for, I got to figure out like, what do their parents do for a living? What kind of schools are they going to? Because there's certain high schools, like if somebody from Jackson has a 3.8, but then I'm getting somebody from like St. X and Cincy with a 3.4 or 3.5, Denison's going to take the 3.4, 3.5 kid from X compared to the 3.8 kid from Jackson because of the curriculum, because of the school. There's still high schools out there that don't offer any AP classes. I ran into small town, tough-nosed kid I fell in love with. He's like, I got a 4.0, straight A's my entire high school career. I'm like, let's go. And then I look at his transcript and he has 0 AP classes. I'm like, why didn't you take any? He's like, they don't offer any. I'm like, uh-oh. Like they don't like when you're not taking any sort of high-level academic stuff. So with all that, like I'm in Chicago a ton. Like Chicago has so many high-level high schools. The alumni base in Chicago from Denison is huge. I mean, we get leads from kids all the time that are like, hey, my aunt played basketball at Denison, said it's a great school. Like we have kids on our roster from anywhere from Columbus, Ohio to California. I mean, we have like a kid from California, we have a freshman. He reached out and was like, hey, somebody with my dad's job said they went to Denison, had a great experience. I should look into it. He's on the roster. So like we get those kind of leads, but we have to be very particular on where we're going to recruit. Obviously that involves a little bit more travel and different things. There's different circuits we have to pay more attention to because it's more of an ideal kid for Denison. So yeah, it's been a little bit more difficult at times, but I've kind of just stopped fighting it and then understood like, hey, this is where I have to start looking. But I get into some areas that I don't think Denison always was willing to do so, but you can find some hidden gems in there that took care of their business and it's the right kid. And that's the biggest thing. As long as you're the right kid and then you meet those requirements, like we'll recruit you. We'll give you a chance. But yes, there are times, like I was talking with our head coach earlier, there's a high academic showcase in right outside of Los Angeles that I'll probably end up going to in July. There's 200 kids that it's a specific high academic camp. Those 200 kids, I got to at least go pay attention to those, and I'm going to have to fly all the way to LA to do so. Like I said, we're in Chicago probably 4 or 5 times a year, but we have kids from Ohio on our roster. There's schools in Ohio that have a great curriculum that I can look at. And that's not to say I can't recruit a kid from Jackson, but like a kid with a 3.7 from Jackson, it's just, unless they're taking all AP classes, it's probably not going to work out. So I just have to really pay attention to the high schools they go to. And like I said, I have to figure out kind of what is their background, what are their parents looking for, what are they looking for. And yeah, the biggest thing was when I stopped fighting it, it got a little easier. So
I'd say that was a big adjustment because you're trying to get them. You're D3, right? So, you're trying to recruit a kid that can play basketball and is smart.
So that's what I'm like, man, okay, how do I...
And was pay for school.
Correct. And so, like I said, we have kids going for free all the way to, we have some kids on the roster paying like $45,000 to $50,000 a year to go to college. I mean...
And that's on the roster.
Oh, yeah.
They're on your roster.
Oh, yeah. I mean, now, some of those families, like, money's really not an issue.
Yeah.
They've
made that choice.
Yeah. And like, to be honest, I've told people, those families, those kids, they would not even have thought Ohio Dominican was a real option for college. Like that's not higher education for them. It's Denison, it's Case Western University, it's University of Chicago, it's Yale, it's those types of things. And so like those are the kind of families that we have. And then we also have, like I said, the opposite end of the spectrum. But no, it's hard. I'm like, man, if I take this job, how do I find the really smart kid from, more times than not, a wealthier neighborhood, a higher level high school that is really tough nosed and wants to sit down and guard and dive after loose balls and elevate a program, which Denison wasn't very good for a very long time. And if you look, we just had the best season in school history this past year. We went 24-4, won the league title for the first year in school history. I mean, we're doing some special things.
And Denison's in what leagues?
So Denison's the NCAC. So that league is going to be Wittenberg, Worcester, Oberlin, Kenyon, Wabash, DePaul. The other D3 league in Ohio is like Marietta, Otterbein, the OAC. So it's in the NCAC. And Worcester and Wittenberg are the top 2 winningest Division III programs of all time in men's basketball that's in our conference. And so you've got schools that never really had to worry about Denison, and you got to worry about them now. And that's what I told our head coach. I'm like, I'm gonna do something to make this different. And the other assistant and I, like we went to war. Like we went to battle. We found kids that were tough, and we had to go spend some of our own money and sleep on some couches. But like, I was like, we're going to make this thing different. And we've won more games in 4 years than they had won in some 10-year stretches in program history. We're winning double-digit wins in the conference. We hosted the conference tournament this year. Last year, we won, I think, 16 games. When I got there 4 years ago, with a bunch of freshmen, and we went 13-13. Like, there were seasons after seasons after seasons. Denison couldn't win 10 games, couldn't win double-digit games. And now, like I said, we just had the best year in school.
It's hard
history.
to recruit for.
It's hard, man. But I would like, I'm not going to settle for anything less. Like I've been in Louisville at the Expo Center there's 120 courts going on down there. And I get really excited about a kid that I saw some film on, and I go watch him and I'm like, he's got a 4.2. He goes to St. Ignatius in Cleveland. He, fits the mold of a student that Denison's looking for, plays on a high level high school team. But I watch him not dive after the floor or dive on the floor after a loose ball. I watch him not be a good teammate. I watch him get pissed off at his coach when he pulls him out. I watch him not play hard. I'm like, I'm not taking that kid because that kid does not elevate what we've done here. And that's hard sometimes when you check a lot of boxes, but I'm like, the toughness aspect, that's the biggest one. Yeah. And that's why we've done what we've done. Like, we press the entire game. We'll get up in your junk. Like, I mean, we will get after you. And that's what we've done. We put together a roster of that that I don't think people ever thought we could. And it was a beautiful thing to kind of see it all come together this year. So,
well, I think that's the kind of the trick behind some of the recruiting part of it. I mean, you can have all the stats. 6'7", 230, triple-double.
Yep.
On your stats, and you have all this, but there is no measurement for heart.
No, and that kid that has
especially
a triple double,
NCAA.
no, yeah. And this is something I love about the small college. I have zero desire to coach at Ohio State. Like, I don't know if Diebler's going to have a job next year, but if he called me and said, hey, will you be my top assistant? My answer is no, and I wouldn't even entertain it. Number one, I want to be a basketball coach in college for the next 40 years, but the most important thing to me is being a dad and being a husband, and being a Division III college coach allows me to do that.
Allows you to do that, yeah.
But on the flip side of it is, like, at that level, they don't care about who. They just want to get the best talent in there and pay them to do it, and then hopefully they stick around. But if not, they'll probably be gone. Like, there's no more culture developing locker rooms at that level anymore. They try to. It's just not a real thing for the majority. At our level, like when we get kids at Denison, they're not going anywhere. Like, they're coming there for that school, and so I don't worry about losing kids. Our top commit is from Olentangy Orange High School, just won the state championship. There were 5 Division I kids between the two teams that started. Reynoldsburg versus Olentangy Orange, 5 Division I kids that started. He was the only D3 commit in the starting lineup. He had 20 points in the state championship Division I game. And I had coaches calling me like, are you worried? Are you worried somebody's going to poach him? No. That kid's coming to Denison because of the school and he's not going anywhere. And so, yeah, I have fallen in love with this level because it allows me to still have some purity to the game, to the recruiting side of things. Like, I am not bringing in a kid that's a loser. I'm not doing it. I'm not ruining what we've started. Our head coach has 2 boys. I have my son. We talk about all the time. Our boys come to practice. We're like, we want the right kids around our sons. We don't ever have to worry about what could have been. I don't ever worry about my phone ringing at 2 a.m. on a Saturday. I don't. That's a beautiful spot to be in. Our guys enjoy college. Our guys have a great time together. They are a wonderful group, but I don't ever have to worry about that. Like, they're so
knock on wood, brother.
They are so driven, and we find, like, once again, that comes back to the recruiting side of things. But it is beautiful to be able to sit there and to find the kid that might not be the triple-double kid, but I watch that kid play his nuts off over and over and over again. I'm like, I'll take that kid. Because I can win with that kid. I can trust that kid. And that is what's completely changed our program. And now, like, I don't know how long I'll be at Denison. I hope for a while. But I told our head coach, I'm like, this program will never lose more games like they were for years and years and years. Like, we'll never, ever drop.
Change the culture, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I hope to be here for a while. He'll be there for 20 more years. It's his destination job. He'll be there 20 more years and retire. I'm like, for however long we're here, for how long I'm here, like, this program is set now. We will never, ever be losers ever again. And so that's just come from, like, being really, really honest during recruiting, which is not always easy because you can fall in love with that triple-double because it's like, man, they can really fill it up. But it's like, I have to be really, really honest. What am I welcoming into our locker room? So
it's good stuff. You got anything else?
I think he's done really well.
I'm proud of you, bud.
Yeah,
I really am, man. I mean, not that means anything, but I mean, you've done well. I've watched you since you was a child, and it tickles me to death to see you do this well. I'm glad you're doing what you love. There's not too many 30-year-olds that can say that they're doing what they love. But how can these recruits find you?
Yeah. Well, my emails and Twitter DMs blow up, but the kind of easiest way to get it is just on our website at Denison. You can find my email on there. I have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I have a recruiting consulting business that I started that you can find me on there. So I've got plenty of options to find. But the Denison website for my email.
Search Ethan Quinn.
That's you can find something on there. Yeah.
So look him up, ladies and gentlemen. Ethan Quinn from Denison University. So appreciate you. You gonna come back here after you guys win like a NCAC championship or something?
Man, I would like to sit and talk about, we just won it for the first time in school history and made the NCAA tournament. Okay. And so I'm happy to come down home and chat about it some more.
We'll do it again. All right. See you.